Okay, welcome to Probable Causes, Dominatifies, Production, fucking PI tutorial. No, I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence, but I'm assuming that you know nothing about industry because you guys are all hardcore PvPers who like to rape faces and not necessarily build things, but destroy them. So, today our focus is going to be on POS fuel manufacturing, and the process for all the different components are exactly the same. I've linked the PI chart of all the shit that you can make for POS fuel, which consists of coolant, enriched uranium, mechanical parts, and robotics. This is Dom's tune. I'm currently cloaked in a Prowler, and I'm in Integral, which is a really good system because number one, it's low security status, so the planets have more resources, and also this solar system has at least one of every planet that you need to make all of your POS fuel in one system, which is, if you're trying to do this passively and you don't want to fuck with it all the time, it's the best place to do it in one system, because then it's just, you go down the line, you click, and then when you go to pick up your shit, you're all in the one system, you're not jumping around. So, that being said, I'll show you these are the planets that I currently have set up here. These are all producing POS fuel, except for, I don't know, fucking one of these things. They're producing fucking construction blocks. It doesn't matter. Anyhow, I'm not currently producing robotics. That's a complicated one because it has a Tech 3 or a Tier 3 end product. So for now, I'm going to focus on the easier ones like the coolant, the enriched uranium, mechanical parts. And in order to do this, I need to find the planet that I don't currently have one on, which is, I got one on planet 1, so planet 3 is our other barren. To make mechanical parts, we need a barren planet. It's the easiest one to make it. You can make it on other planets, but barrens are the easiest. So this is your planetary interaction bullshit. It's lovely, isn't it? Fucking customs office, yay. Alright, I currently have, shit, I forgot about that. I have in my hold one command center for a barren planet, right? Take up 1,000 cubic meters per one, so you might have to set them up in different ships depending on what it is, but keep in mind that it takes a while to set this shit up. You guys aren't new to fucking low sec. Make sure you can cloak and all that happy horse shit. So, that being said, on to the process. In order to make mechanical parts, before you build anything, as a side note, real quick before I go any further, this is the skills that Dom has. I've got the upgrades to 5, which makes your life a little bit easier for fitting your command center. Interplanetary consolidation is the one that lets you have up to 6 planets. I can do 6 planets at a time. Yay. You don't really need to worry about remote sensing. That's if you're sitting in Jita and you want to fucking check planets in Amar. It's gay, it's stupid. I don't know why the fuck I trained it that high. The planetology is basically your scanning. That determines how accurate your readings are, which I'll explain that in a minute. Which I just trained this up at this level where I'm at. I've got 4 here, 3 here. I get pretty accurate scans with a whole lot of resources. So before you build anything, you want to double check the PDF file that I linked in that thing and see what you need to actually extract from this here planet. To make mechanical parts, we need noble metals and base metals. So what I do is I go to scan, right? And these are the concentrations that they have in them. These are noble metals, base metals. Now, what I do, and this is something that will help your efficiency and make you more ISK, with less bullshit. And basically, I'm showing you the laziest way you could possibly do this and still be efficient at doing this. So what I've done is I've scanned. Now what I want to do is take this and I want to slide it until almost all of the white is gone. So basically all I want is one little spot of white left, and that's the highest concentration, obviously. Again, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but I know a lot of you guys don't really do industry shit. Okay, so here's my hottest spot of noble metals, which means that's where I'm going to extract the most amount per hour of material for noble metals. Now what you want to do is check your sister thing that you need to extract, sister component, and see where, okay, so I put my mouse there and I make sure that, there's something close by, which I'll explain why you want both of them close here in a minute when I set everything up. So, alright, I know that there's a hot spot here for noble metals, and I know that there's a spot here for base metals. Usually it's the light and dark, like if this is base metals, then this is another one that's high. So that being said, I want to set up my command center, and the reason I set up my command center really close to everything is because that's where your camera zooms into. It's just something that makes life a little bit easier. So I build my command center right next to where I'm going to set everything up, and before you click submit and actually build this, you want to upgrade it because there's like a 30-second cooldown or something. Just one of those little tidbits that helps things go a little bit faster. I've been doing this for a minute. I'm going to upgrade this all the way. You can see that the cost is $6 million. It'll cost you about $28-30 million to set one of these up. The whole setup, however, all you got to do is for like a week and it'll pay itself off. So you're really not losing any fucking money. Just take the first set that you make and sell the shit on the market, or fuck, we'll buy it off you for the corp funds. I don't really care. Alright, so I've clicked submit, so now this is built, so now I can actually start building extractors and whatnot. Alright, I'm going to go back over here to scan, and I'm going to make sure that I have the lowest one possibly selected. Now, what you want next is a extractor. Alright, so this is what actually pulls the materials out of the planet. This light gray circle that is around the extractor that's the processing head or whatever, the control unit. That's where the center of the extractors will be, and I'll show you more about that here in a minute. So basically you want everything as close as humanly fucking possible so that you use less CPU for the links, which again I'll explain here momentarily. So basically, I know I got a spot here, right, that we're going to extract one thing, and then we got another one here that we're going to extract some more shit. So the circle can encompass both, and this is all part of the tutorials that I've seen do not explain to you how to use the most efficiency out of your power grid. These things are going to extract, you know, like fucking 150,000 units an hour, and your actual processors can't process that much shit per hour. So basically what you need is a holding unit. Now you have two different kinds of storage. You have barren storage facility and you have spaceports. Spaceports use up a lot more resources, your power grid and your CPU. So what I like to do is I take a storage facility, which is a barren storage facility. It doesn't hold as much, but it doesn't really matter either, because it's not going to be full that often. So now that I've installed that, okay, I have two extractors, and this stuff is going to feed into here eventually. So the next thing I need is some basic extractors, or basic processors, excuse me. These things are what turn those raw minerals into the next step. So basically what I do is I set everything up as close as humanly possible, and you'll see it turns red, and this can be a real fucking pain in the ass sometimes. So I set it up as close as humanly possible so that the links that you make, because every link that you make, depending on the length of it, requires power grid and resources that you just don't have. So it's a good idea to make them as short as humanly possible, which is, like I said, I haven't seen a tutorial that tells you these things. Now, you're going to store the refined materials from here into another pad, but you want this one to be big because the end product's going to go there. This is how I make one click a day on each planet, and I only have to fuck with it one time a week. So I'm going to put this here, and it'll all come together here in a minute. Just bear with me here. So you need to extract noble metals, which we're currently highlighting on the scan. So the noble metals you're going to eventually, you're going to turn those into precious metals using a schematic. In order to set that, this is your basic industry facility. You're going to select your schematic to precious metals. All right, you can double click it to make it faster, but for now I'll just show you the long way. Now it's set up to produce it, however everything has to be routed. Right, so if it's not routed, it'll just sit there and you'll fucking waste all your time. But before we can do all that, we still need some other shit to set up. I'm getting ahead of myself here, I apologize. So the advanced is what makes the tier 2 products. Now, since we have two sets of the basic processors, all right, these two are going to produce precious metals. These two are going to produce base metals, or reactive metals in the end. All this shit's going to feed into here. These are going to pull from here, reprocess it, and spit the finished good back into there. And again, this is all part of that efficiency that I seem to be really good at. So nothing's built yet, but the total cost of what I'm going to be building is $2,040,000, which at this point I'm not really going to concern myself too much with the money, because in the end I'll end up making a fuck ton back. So you need all this shit linked together in the flow that you know, kind of in a to where it makes sense of how it's flowing. So to create a link, you're going to click on whatever the fuck you want to create a link to. You're going to hold down Control and drag a line, let go of Control and click. Control, let go, click, right? Just rinse, lather, repeat. So we set all this up so that my basic extractors are pulling their resources from here, and they're going to be deposited in here. So I have to make links to here as well. Right, so now these are all linked together so that these things will feed into here and blah blah blah. Now these things are going to be pulling from this launch pad and spitting it back into the launch pad. The reason this is a launch pad, which I'll get into here in a minute, is that's how you get shit off of your planet. So you have to have at least one launch pad. You can do it with this, but it's useless because it only holds like 500 cubic meters. So I just set it over there, and in the interest of efficiency and being a lazy bastard and only have to clicking once a week, that's how I do it. So you have the links all set up. You have everything all set up pretty much how you like it. Now, in the interest of time, I do all this shit up beforehand because I know that basically I know what the fuck I'm doing. So I'm going to go to the products because we've already selected a schematic on this, and I'm going to double click this to create a route, and I'm going to send it to here, and I'm going to create route. And here I'm going to produce more precious metals, so I need to select that schematic, and I need to send it here. Always remember to create your routes after you select your schematic. I don't know how many times I've wasted weeks on end. I'm like, why isn't this working? Like a fucking complete muppet, as CT would call me. Now, something to help you out to keep things simple, as simple as this can get. You know that you're extracting noble metals right here, and you know damn well that you're going to be extracting base metals over here. So what I do, so that it makes more sense in my head, is that these two processors that are closer to the base metal or the noble metals are going to be using noble metals to produce precious metals. So I make the schematics for these precious metals. It just makes more sense in my head. It's something, again, it's just efficiency at this point. So these two bottom ones are going to be making base metals, extracting base metals and turning that into reactive metals. And that's why it's a really good idea to have that little PI chart open, because it makes things a lot easier. You can just reference it real quick, because I've been doing this for a while. I don't know how many times I've set up pos fuel extraction and I fuck it all up. So reactive metals, create route, and we're going to route it into there. Okay, now you'll notice that I have, about half of my power grid and half of my CPU. That'll all come into play later, but you got to set all this shit up first so that everything will flow smoothly when you're setting it up. So in the end, we want to make Jesus Christ, mechanical parts. That's what we were after. See, I get really confused on this shit. So mechanical parts. Now we want to create a route back into this motherfucker. More mechanical parts out of the advanced. Alright. So the first time you do this, you're probably going to mess everything up, and you're going to double click on shit, and then you're going to be like, okay, cool, see, I don't think that took. Yep, it didn't. So now that we've selected our schematics for everything, we have everything routed. All we need now is to actually click submit so we can get this ball rolling. Now, there's no incoming route, so you can check this box, and you should have an incoming and an outgoing to everything except your storage units. So you have an outgoing from this processor that's going into here. This has an outgoing from here. Okay. Now, in order to get the material from here to here, you have to open this up and look at your routes. Alright. So you have precious metals incoming. You want to create a route to one of your advanced processors. You have precious metals incoming. Create a route to your advanced processor. Now your advanced processors are going to take 10 from this one and 10 from this one and produce the end product, which I think is kind of self-explanatory, so I don't try to get too confusing here. But the other thing we needed was reactive metals in this schematic, so double click there, create that route, and then come down here. This is an incoming, create route to this one. Now after you've done that, you want to go back through and check. Okay, yes, it has both parts, and right here it tells you you're producing mechanical parts. This tells you what you need: reactive metals, precious metals. So the best thing to do is look at this and say, okay, I know that the product that I'm producing here is outgoing, which means it's routed. I have two incoming, and they're not the same thing, because you can set it up to where it's only getting half of what it needs. So you have two incoming. They both are on this list, which it won't let you create a route if it's not on the schematic that you're using. Now that's done. So now all we need to do is go back here. This doesn't have any routes yet because our extractors are built, but they're not actually extracting anything. So Click submit again. Now, on this one, the planet's going to go, it should go black here in a second as soon as I hit survey. Yep. And over here you need to select what you want to extract. You can extract anything from anywhere, but we know that that was our hot spot for noble metals. So when you first start out, you click noble metals. Now the minimum time that you can do this for is 1 hour. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky. You have to do a balancing act to put extractor heads on it. So I'm going to put 3 on, and I'm going to move them. That's that, I'll zoom back out here and show you. That's that circle. They can extract anywhere within that circle. So people generally, what they do is, like, if this is the hot spot, they take this and put it right fucking in the middle, and then they put all these things around it. Like, why the fuck would you waste all that resource with links? That's why I don't like other tutorials, and I said I would do this. So this is Dom's fucking easy guide to retardation, I guess. Alright, so with three extractor heads running 1 hour, I'm going to produce 16,804 units. The reason I'm only doing it for 1 hour to start is because it'll cycle every 15 minutes, and then I'm not wasting a whole day waiting for this thing to double check and verify that it's working the way that it's supposed to. So your first cycle, just select an hour. It's not that big a deal. You can stop it in the middle anytime you want. Now, this is going to be producing noble metals. Now, it's not routed, so we need to create a route. Double click on the little storage facility you set up in the middle, create route. Right? This one over here, we know we need base metals. So we're going to click on that. It's going to give us a nice little lovely graph and tell us where everything is. I'm going to install 3. I try to keep it even because you don't want to be extracting like 10 million of one, you motherfucker, 10 million of one thing and only 5 of another, because your storage will get all out of whack. You want to try to keep them as close as possible. So this one I think was shit, I don't remember now, like 8,000 or something like that. So we're just going to dumb this down, take 2 down. I have plenty of power grid, plenty of CPU left. I can add plenty more later, and this, I'll show you what I'm talking about when I do all that. If you're running really low on resources and you're not quite making enough, you can slide this around and it'll kind of make up for a lack of survey skill, because you can see the numbers jump right here and you'll know where you're really getting the most. The easiest way to do it is, this is like a it's quality index, I guess is what they call it. The higher the number, obviously, the more shit it's going to put out. So basically, I just slap it down in the middle of the fucking white spot, because that's all you really need, and hit fucking install program, right? So now it's producing something, which this is the product. So we're going to go here. It's not routed. We're going to double click it. We're going to route it into here, create route. Now, there's shit going into this, but there's nothing coming out. So we're going to go to routes. Now, noble metals was this one. It was the top one. So we're going to click that, create route into here. Now we have 2 processors that need that, so you got to make sure that you supply both of them. Make sure you click on the incoming, not the outgoing, because it won't. You'll get all frustrated because you can't create the route and you won't know why. It's maybe I'm just the only retard that did that. But base metals incoming. I'm going to create a route here because that's in that schematic. Create a route here to here. Create route. Now, I think I've created all the routes that I need, but I'm going to go back through and double check in a matter of 2 minutes. Routed. Okay. Routes. Routed. Outgoing. Okay. It's producing precious metals. It needs noble metals. It's got noble metals. And it's producing precious metals, and those are routed into here. We know that. Okay. Same thing with this. Click on routes. We're producing precious. We need noble. We're getting noble. We're sending it out. Alright. Fucking genius, isn't it? But I just go through and check all these because it's really frustrating when you come back 3 days later and you haven't fucking produced anything. Alright, so that's done. Now, on here, you got everything coming in, outgoing, and all that happy shit. Now we're going to check on here, double check my routes. I need precious metals and I need reactive metals. I'm getting both, and I'm producing mechanical parts, and I have an outgoing route, which means I'm ready to click submit. I'm going to hit submit. Dun-dun. It makes a weird little noise, and that's that. And basically, you let it run for the first cycle, which it will be done in 15 minutes. And it should deposit its shit in here. This should automatically get filled. It should start processing, dump its resources into here. These should do the same thing. These should pull their shit out and dump it back in here. Now I'm going to pause the recording, and I'll have to post 2 videos. I'm going to show you that it worked the way as advertised, and then I'm going to show you how to set it for a day and forget about it, and then only have to worry about double clicking on shit, and I'll show you how fucking easy that is. So give me 15 minutes and we'll make another video. Alright, you bunch of fucking spindle dicks, I'm back for round 2. Okay, so we've set up Integral Planet 3, and it's been running for, I don't know, a few minutes. I don't really give a shit. Whatever. Alright, so it's been running for all of fucking 5 minutes and 15 seconds. What can I say? I'm impatient, I'm tired, don't fuck with me. Alright, so this is, actually it's been running for 20 minutes, so fucking eat a dick. It's completed 1 cycle, and it's currently working on its 2nd cycle. I know this because this is like a progress bar for these 2 things. Now you'll notice that this outer ring here, this orange outer ring, that's how much of the resources it has currently. So it currently has 75% of what it needs to actually produce precious metals. What the fuck ever. So obviously, these aren't going to run until this shit dumps in here. So what we're going to do is take another break from this, and I'll show you the double-clicking magic that is 100 and whatever the fuck I make a month or a week in passive ISK building. This is my other barren planet that I'm currently producing mechanical parts on. I'm actually going to change this up a little bit. Don't get too excited about the way this looks, because this is a little bit more... Basically all I did, because I have the skill high enough to max out the command center, I basically can put in 2 extractors and run, these are all basic extractors, right, or basic processors here. These 3 are basic processors, and these are 3 advanced. And I also had 2 spaceports, so that I honestly, I wouldn't have to check this for a month, because these will hold 10,000 cubic meters, so you can make a hell of a lot of shit and stuff it in there. But I have enough, my skills are high enough to where I can set it up like this. Don't get too concerned about this not looking right and being all fucking retarded. You should have seen me custom and squaring and setting all this up, because it really does get confusing sometimes. Alright, that being said, this is literally, you know what, I'll start all the way from the beginning so you can see how long this takes. You don't even have to be in the system where your planets are. You can do this from the fucking station in Murathand, or you can do it from a fucking fleet in goddamn Jita. It doesn't matter. So you decide, oh shit, I gotta update my shit. Double click the planet, right? This is why I put the command center close to my actual shit, because it swings the camera right around to it. I double click this, right? I already know that I need noble metals, right? So it's gonna scan, blah 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 blah. We're going to take it to a day, which you can actually take this up to a fucking week, but whatever. I think, nope, it was noble. Alright. So that's another thing you got to keep in mind, is that the longer you extract a planet, the more the resources will actually move around. So that's why it's a good idea to make that bigger circle in the middle of what you need. Alright, so I've got it set for 1 day. It's going to produce 332,000. So I'm just going to annotate that right down here in this handy dandy useless piece of shit notepad thing. I'm going to click install. I'm going to double click this, and I need base metals, which I'm pretty sure that's moved. Yeah, so we're going to have to move these around. Usually it doesn't take this goddamn long. Of course it's going to this time, but anyhow. So I'm going to take these. Well, hell, it doesn't even matter. I don't have to move them anyway. Because, see, I'm still making 373,000, which is pretty close to our original 332, so I'm not going to fucking worry about it. Click install, click submit. Problem solved. Now, this is another planet. This one I didn't turn off in the middle of a cycle, so I shouldn't have to redo anything. Click. Click. Submit. Next planet. Now, that's planet 3. That's one we set up. It's not ready yet. We're going to skip that one. Okay, one quick note. This is an oxygen planet. It actually is a tier 1 product. You can produce a fuck ton of this really, really quick. I don't give a shit if you want to make it and sell this shit, because I make enough to supply about 5 fucking passes a month. Basically, all it is the same exact setup. I set up 2 extractors, 1 spaceport, because these things will put out so much material that you actually need a second spaceport. I have 4 basic processors that all they're doing is taking noble gas and turning it into oxygen, and it's just dumping it in there, and that's the final product that we need. Boom, bada bing, right there, oxygen. So this one's even easier. Click it, hit fucking install, double click this one, hit install, fuck it, on to the next one. Plasma planet. Alright, so you'll notice that some of these, like this extractor, spread out a little bit from this one, and I told you earlier to keep them all as close as humanly possible. Well, sometimes you'll have, especially on lava planets and plasma planets, you'll have like, I forget what the hell, Felsmic magma or whatever the fuck it is, smegma, whatever. It'll be way over here, and then you'll have your other resources way over here. So you basically just put the edge of that big circle on where you find that hot spot and keep everything as close as you possibly can without wasting too much. And that's about it. It's really not too complicated. Double click, submit. This is literally, I do this once a day, and I make enough POS fuel to supply probably 2 large towers for a month, and it takes me 2.5 weeks to make it. The rest is all just extra shit that I don't even fucking need. That's about it. One more thing to show you, I guess, on that is sometimes when you set up a planet, like for instance this one, because I don't have advanced what the hell they're called, fucking processors. I just have the basics. I had a more power grid to work with, more power grid, more CPU. So basically, this extractor head has all of the heads on it. The extractor control unit, whatever, has all the heads on it that you can possibly have. And what that does is it puts out 40,000 an hour. Well, the problem is those little links that are impossible to click on when you put this shit together. You click on it, these links can only handle so much M3 per hour. You'll see it right there. So sometimes I haven't had any problems except for making oxygen, because I can set up so many extractor heads. So basically all you have to do is upgrade a link, right? So you'll click upgrade link, and you click upgrade here, and usually 1 or 2 levels is enough. But each time you upgrade it, it's going to increase the amount of CPU and power. So don't go crazy and be like, I'll fucking upgrade all my links, because all it's going to do is fuck you in the ass. So that being said, that's it. That's honestly really all there is to it. The hardest part about PI is setting the shit up. And once you figure out how to set it up the right way to where it's easy and it's efficient, and you literally click on it once every fucking 2 weeks or whatever the hell it takes, it's really fucking smooth. You just go pick it up when it's ready, and it's not a big rush. It doesn't matter. And yeah, that's about it. If you got any questions, send me an email in game, or fucking convo me when I'm on, and we'll talk you through it on TeamSpeak. Not a big deal. Okay, I forgot. I was going to show you how to fucking, once these have run for an hour and you know that they're producing correctly, how to add and set it up. Yeah, sorry. So anyhow, these have all completed a cycle. They've dumped their resources into here because it's empty, because these are currently taking it all and trying to turn it into, mechanical parts. So this one is currently in production. It's got an hour-long runtime, which I'm not fucking waiting for and then coming back and blah blah blah. So the extractors that I originally set for an hour have finished. Obviously they're not running right now. So now I know everything works the way it's supposed to, and everything produces the way it's supposed to. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna take this up to a day. All right, that's your extraction size. Now, the longer you run the extractors, the bigger the radius of each individual extractor is, right? So as you can see, the circles have gotten bigger. Now, this negative number means you get an interference between the heads, so you need to space them out a little bit. That's literally all it takes, right? Like that, see? So now I'm getting a pretty good production rate. But see, I have all this CPU, or all this power grid, and all this CPU left to use, right? So if you remember at the beginning of this whole fiasco, just the fuck out of the way, put you guys to bed. The noble metals was the lesser of the abundance of materials that we needed. So basically what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up extracting more base metals per extractor. So what you need to do is, like I said at the beginning, it's a balancing act. So you have to get, you're trying to get the most amount of resources you can with the the power grid and the CPU that you have left, while still maintaining a balance. Because if this produces, say, 515,000, and it dumps it into here, and this starts running, and then this one produces like 750,000, it's going to create an imbalance. These are going to produce more fucking units than these two, and then you're going to end up with a whole bunch of shit left over in here, which isn't really that big of a deal. You can always sell the raw materials to clear it out. So anyhow, yeah, that being finished. So I've got 5 extractor heads, and I'm producing 515,000. All right, so we're going to install that, and then I'm going to come over here and try to get it as close to 515,000 as I can in one day. Gee, fucking. Alright, so there's one day. I'm going to produce 214 with that many. It's 302, 377. I'm going to slide these over here to the fucking white spot and see where we come out with. So 430. It's close, but it's not quite there. 545. We're trying to get 515. So I just saw 518 flash up. I'm going to try to get 516 is fucking good enough, but. And that's why sometimes you can use that interference that you get to kind of balance everything out. That's basically all you're trying to do. I think that's fucking close enough for our purposes. So this one's going to produce 515. This one's going to produce 539. One of the other little important things to remember is that this is going to produce 7,000 per cycle, right? And a cycle is still 15 minutes, but it's going to run for 24 hours. These need 3,000 per hour of incoming. Right, so you know that you can supply both of these off this one extractor with 7,000 and still build up a supply, so that in the event at the end of 24 hours you're not online or you don't feel like fucking clicking on shit, you have a little bit of a reserve. It'll constantly be producing. That's where the efficiency comes in. I know some people might say, "Oh, why don't you fucking get rid of this thing and just feed these directly in here?" Because these things are only going to take fucking 3,000 per cycle. And if this is producing 9,000, you're wasting all that extra cycle. So by building up a buffer, it doesn't matter if you say, "Fuck it, I don't feel like clicking this shit today." That's why I said PI is like a lazy man's fucking ISK maker. Because if you set it up right, you really don't have to fuck with it. So these are going to make a buffer in here. It's kind of like moon mining. I don't know how many people know anything about that, but you use the silo and blah 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 and the little coupling array to produce a buffer, so that if this produces more and this can't use it, it doesn't just go to waste. It just fucking sits in here until it can use it. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's everything you need to know, except how to actually get your shit off the planet, which I don't again, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I don't know how much anybody knows about this, and I'll just cover it real quick because it's pretty easy. But first I have to find a fucking planet that has something. I just cleaned this out early this morning, so I don't really have anything built up yet. Oh, I know I had some oxygen. We'll do that real quick. We had some oxygen saved up. Alright, so this is my end stage product, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. See this little fucking rocket right here? It says fucking launch. You're going to click on that, right? Now, this is the customs office that's in orbit around the planet. All you do is drag this over here and click transfer. Now, it's going to cost ISK to get it off the planet, and that's all part of that tax of the customs office. That's why we're going to, well, I intend to blow these fuckers up and put our own up, because there's no sense in doing this shit. And most of the ones in Integral are owned by fucking NPC Corps anyway. Or not NPC Corps, but other corps. And fuck them anyhow. It's just more shit for us to blow up and cause tears. So, I don't want to pay 26,000 right now, because I think I might actually go over there and blow that shit up here in a minute. So, I'm going to set that over there and all that happy shit. You're going to set it, blah, 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 and hit transfer. It's going to take 26,000 to get it off the planet, which, if we get rid of that, that will cut our Jesus Christ, our cost down. Alright, so then once you've, you know what, I'll just fucking launch it so that you can see what the hell I'm doing. So you put it over here, fucking transfer, yada yada. Now you do have to be in system to actually do the transfer. You have to be in the same system as the planet. Alright, so that was this planet. I'm going to warp to the custom. Well, first thing I'm going to do is check local and see who the fuck's in here. And as soon as I find local. Jesus Christ. Alright, I got 4 fucking motherfuckers in here. Yeah, stand by. You guys know the drill. I'm going to scan down and see who the fuck's in here and what. Blah, 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 blah. Jesus Christ. I don't give a shit. I don't see shit. So, gas planet, customs office, I'm going to warp to 0. Dun, 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 dun. And then once you warp to the customs office, it works just like a jet can, or any other kind of cargo can in space. You just open it up and drag it into your uh, cargo hold. Since I find the damn thing, I don't have it on my overview. So just take it, drag it, you're done. That's literally it. And then all you have to do is fly back and either put it in the fuel hangar or fuck, sell it. I don't really care, but that's my 2 cents on PI, and hopefully it helps somebody out, and I didn't make it too confusing, and it's actually useful to somebody. Like I said, if you got any questions or concerns, comments, tell me to fuck off. I don't care. Just fucking catch me in the game.